So let's look for a solution on this side of the show, all right? And so I'll bring on my guest. She is a humanitarian, an ambassador actually for humanitarian services, and she is a serial entrepreneur as well. Her name is Kate Bassi. Thank you for joining us on the show this morning, Kate Bassi.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here.
Just before we came back on the show, I was telling you that you're not looking like Nigeria is affecting you in any way. I mean, you understand? You look too good for the Nigerian economy. Okay.
I was fine than because the economy has affected me. Everything has affected me. Nigeria is already Nigeria is Nigerian on me, and I'm feeling the heat. Anything that they need to do to help us come out and help ourselves, we have to.
And you as an ambassador for humanitarian services, looking around the nation, I know you've done so much in terms of reaching out to people, especially in the rural areas, and helping people. Looking at what is going on in the country right now, as an ambassador for humanitarian services, what would you think that the average Nigerian youth can do?
Regardless the fact that things are like this, some persons still have the ability, still have the grace that they can still afford. Now, I'm going to speak on it in terms of feeding, because hunger is something that everybody, trust me, every Nigerian is experiencing it. I like, this man needs food, he needs to give him food.
Sure.
And I was able to,
and then you could
we were able to gather some things around and took food, he took water first and then add some food to half the portion of the food he had, and he came out and said, I'm sorry, I'm not sick.
I was just hungry.
I was just hungry.
Wow, interesting.
And this is, I mean, a well-built, a full man. Like when you talk about a man.
And that is one out of the many situations that we have at hand in this country.
Yeah.
Like you see a lot of people walking on the street. It looks like they're healthy, they're strong, they're doing so fine. But beneath that whole attire you see is a hungry man or a hungry woman or a person with so much pressing needs from the family as well. And now let's talk about what you have been doing personally to help people. I like the fact that you narrated that incident, so every other person will know that when you pass by the road, the market, whatever you find yourself, and someone needs a helping hand, you extend. I noticed that you've been doing so much as an individual on your own to reach out to people living in the rural areas, people who need food and people who need clothing as well. Does this look like what every other young Nigerian can get involved in, especially the privileged ones?
You have the ability to, like I said, if you can afford 3 square meal, trust me, you can cut half of it each of them and then try to reach out to someone, your neighbors. Because humanity is not about, I used to tell people, I'm not for religion, I'm for humanity. Regardless of your faith and all that, once I know that, okay, you're created by God and this thing you're needed, this thing will help you to come out from the situation, I should be able to help. So I'm like part of my own CS house, kind of. I really try to gather some certain funds, even from some sponsors, some people that feels they have the same vision that I do. They see they need to feed people, they see they need to give people stuff and all that. Last month I did that. I went to places like, sometimes I go to rural communities, I've been to Po, I've been to different locations. I do sensitization for children as well. I speak to them about things they need to know. Like normally the people that are mostly vulnerable are the female children and the women. And just like I'm a chef as well, I cook.
I was going to come to that.
Yes, I cook. So you can imagine that part of my game is what I used to. I'll just find a way and cut it aside and make sure that, okay, fine, 10, or this can fit 10 to 20 persons. I'll accumulate it. Once you get a certain amount, 20, 100 pieces, and I'll take it out and I feed people on the streets. So I do feed trading as also my campaign. And then, but then in different, like every 2 months, I usually have different campaigns. Like by September it's going to be back to school. I have to think on how I'm going to get back to school item materials, reading materials, and shoes, probably pay some of the students their school fees, people that are sound, pay their school fees and all this. So these are things that individually people that have the ability can as well come in and help people to help.
I want to know what you studied in school first before you took up this desire to either become a chef or reach out to people. What did you study?
I studied astrology. Yeah. Then my MSc, I'm doing humanitarian services.
Oh,
yes, that's
beautiful.
So now it's something that I have passion for. I love services. I love to help, and I took upon myself. Okay, fine. No matter how much it is, I think as far as 2009, I was still in secondary school. I was still in school when I usually go to motherless home to do some services, freelance services. I
Wow.
take care of kids. I could get some stuff, take it to them, and all that. I was still very young. I didn't have an idea, but at least I understood what it was meant for. And I understand the fact that I have been hungry before. I have stayed like 2 days without having food to eat. Not because I was fasting, because I didn't have opportunity to eat food. And I've been homeless as well. So like, okay, I can get peanuts, small thing. I really would want to help people that are in my century, because I know what it feels like.
Okay, so what would you say to the Nigerian youth out there? Because part of the reason why they are taking to the streets to protest is the fact that there is no employment in the country. And so most of them are agitated that they are graduates, they studied something in school, and now they cannot get a job in that field especially. I noticed that you have diversified your sources of income in some way, so you did not study sociology and then wait for the government to give you a job. Somehow you are diving into, cooking, you're a chef already, you're doing humanitarian services and all of that. What would you say to the Nigerian youth out there who's coming out to protest with the sole reason of, I don't have a job and I'm a graduate? Is there something they can also decide to do aside working with a certificate?
Yes, I think one of the best things that they can do for themselves is to try to develop skills, build skills. I've worked with a solar company for 4 to 5 years.
Wow.
Now I was getting money as well, and then also have affiliation with these companies whereby we can develop people that will want to go into engineering. All right, so you can build skills in engineering aspect of it, like in the renewable energy aspect of it. You can have 2 weeks course, you can have 3 weeks, you can have, and then just have your certificates and then go into the streets. Now the sun is free. Why are you still sitting down at home and say you don't have money, you cannot, the government, waiting for the government to get your job? Renewable energy is now like the key thing. Everybody's trying to dive into it. So you can actually look at that aspect. There are a lot of skills you can go into, and rather than waiting for the government to give you money, I think we can be, what is government? We are the government. We should start with ourselves.
Let's start with ourselves.
Do you understand? So just try and get a skill, something that pays, something that once at this point you need to do something that you can render services to people and then get paid. Because white collar jobs, trust me, I'm not sure we still have that at this moment. So if you're waiting for that, that might not work. And I'm not saying you shouldn't protest. Trust me. If I have the strength, of course, I'm a youth, I will definitely go out and protest once I get that. Peep that the location is safe. I will definitely go and protest because I want better tomorrow for my kids that are coming and my great grandchildren and all that. So I want to protest too. But then, like I said, develop yourself, get a skill, and run with it and trust me.
And that's so lovely, the fact that you could talk in that manner, because you have gone through that. You've gone through school and now you have a skill that it's supposedly paying you at the moment. You look good actually, you're not looking like the economy is telling on you. But anyways, what I mean is that every other youth out there can toe the same line.